silly little wooden puppets.
No! Let's talk to them!
Alright, welcome to the Guts and Ghouls podcast. I'm Dax.
And I'm Brad.
And we're getting straight into it because I think we discovered something here. We're talking about Puppet Master. This has been on I think my watch list for a very long time because I always would see when like the new ones would come out and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And we finally dove into it and I think we found a gem.
Yeah. I didn't expect to like it at all.
Yeah,
but here I am.
Expected you
I watched
to
so
hate
many movies in one day.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and I was like, "Oh, Brad's probably gonna hate this. I won't watch the others." Even though I wanted to. I mean, I didn't have time. I could probably only watch like two or like one, like the second or third. But I was like, when you texted me, you were like, "Dude, I just watched 4," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
And I even watched 2 more after that. Yes.
Yeah. Do I need to quit my job so I can just watch all the Puppet Masters?
Absolutely. Everyone needs to do it. I highly recommend it to anyone. It's very freeing.
It's freeing?
Yes.
All right. So we're talking about Puppet Master, directed by David Schmoller. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, but he also directed Tourist Trap. So he's kind of a guy.
And that's another Charles Band production.
Ooh.
The Band Brothers.
Well, a brief summary of Puppet Master is essentially a man brings to life puppets, and years later after his death, a team of, I guess, like psychic Avengers in a way. Almost like
yeah,
I got like very
Avengers.
like Professor X vibes from them. Come to discover in this hotel some kind of secret mystery their colleague left behind. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I was expecting this movie because I'm like, okay, they're clearly going off of like the hype of Chucky. You know, this is like the 80s. They're like, okay, killer dolls are big right now. Let's do our own thing. So I was just kind of expecting like a mindless slasher with like a bunch of funny little puppets.
Yeah.
I definitely did not expect a group of wizards.
No.
Did not expect the connection to the Nazi party. And I didn't expect how likable the little puppet men would be.
Mm-hmm.
And how genuinely scary some of them were.
Yeah, they're like horror icons to me now.
Especially Leech Lady. Or Leech Woman.
Yeah.
Her name is.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I just what I think my favorite part was like the atmosphere of it. Of the spooky hotel. The music's always a bop.
Yeah.
It's just it reminds me, it's like a really good, there's some horror movies that hit that Halloween spot for me. Like it's got Halloween atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I would put this under that.
Oh, okay. In atmosphere.
Yeah, like this would be a good movie. Like I could say, like I could watch it on or around Halloween and be like, ooh, that puts me in the spooky mood. You know?
Yeah, I could see that. It did have like a banging soundtrack.
Yeah, and you have like this old hotel that's like almost abandoned and it's kind of like stuck in like the 30s. You've got like this mystery around everything. The vibes are kind of like upbeat. Like I wasn't really sure if I was rooting for the puppets or the people. If that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Especially in the first scene when you introduce to the puppets, you realize like, oh, they're just little guys.
Yeah, they're not like evil, inherently evil, really.
Yeah. But I want to talk about our magic psychic team.
Oh god.
Because I didn't expect that at all.
No.
So it's these team of there's 4 of them, right? You have
Yeah, I think there was 4.
Yeah, Frank, who's like the leader. I wasn't exactly sure what Frank's power was. Other than just he was the leader.
Oh yeah, because his girlfriend was like a sidekick. Yeah, I don't remember what he did exactly because the main guy could see the future, right?
Yeah, well, through his dreams, he could
Yeah,
dream
through his dreams.
the futures, and something like relatively similar would happen.
Okay, yeah.
Like he had a dream of leeches on him, and then later in the film, one of the characters got leeches on them.
Right. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
then Frank's girlfriend, Carissa, her ability was like any object she touched, she could see like basically everything that object went through. So like they show it like her on a bed, and she can see like everyone who's like slept and had sex on it. Which I don't know if I would like that power.
Yeah, that would be too much information for me.
Imagine you're just like at Thanksgiving at like your grandma's house, and you just kind of touch the table, and you just see your grandparents just going to town on that dinner table.
Yeah, that'd be really disturbing. That's like that's power seems like more of a curse than it is a blessing.
Imagine like you're just like at the grocery store, and you just kind of like bump into someone, and you just find out they're like a murder rapist. Yeah, and then the final one was Dana was her name, and she's just kind of your genuine like clairvoyant psychic. Like she does like the palm readings and all that kind of stuff, and she was kind of mean. She wasn't nice.
Oh, I liked her. I thought she was the hottest one for me.
Oh
She's my waifu.
Top 10 puppet master women.
Yeah, she'd be at the top of my list. Let me tell you.
They should call the puppet master Hot Girl Heaven. My favorite is Dana, because she's about the size of an average human mother.
I can't believe that's a real video that someone recorded and edited together.
That's my favorite video. I recite that all the time.
It's just so weird. Like, what is going on with that guy psychologically that he wants, like I don't know, like someone he's sexually interested in to be like his mother or like a mother.
Or he's like, oh yeah, this character has 3 triangles on their head. That's why they're hot. That's what I want to get into. Well, we all know that the entire Sonic fandom is degenerates.
Ugh,
I don't know what it is
true.
about that fandom.
And
It's like they just can't be normal.
No. And it's all they're all fanboying up over something so stupid. Like
Ooh,
my
watch out.
my hot take is like Sonic was never good. Like what? Like what? I've never even like those classic 2D Sonic games. Never liked those.
I never got into Sonic as well.
Yeah, I've always just thought it was really lame.
I was a Crash kid.
Yeah,
That was mine.
See, Crash has actual good games,
Yes.
so that I understand. You know, Sonic, nope.
All right. Well, we're gonna get hate mail from Sonic.
Probably, yeah. That tangent.
Yeah. So our team is I don't know what they do though. They're just like a research team, but they don't say really their purpose, other than just perform magic.
Yeah, it's weird, cause like by the time it starts, they already all know each other, and I guess they meet up, and then they're looking for this guy and his wife who own the hotel, because I guess the guy is also a sidekick part
Neil
of their team.
was a part of their team.
Yeah,
And he screwed them over, but they never said how.
yeah,
But I don't know. I also like. I mean, I wasn't sure in this movie like if they were like, okay, magic's real or magic's like fake. But magic is very real in this universe.
oh yeah, it's
Like-
totally real.
They're actually psychics. They actually have these powers. They do sex magic, which is very cool as well.
That was one of my favorite things about these movies in general, is that like you would think the obvious way to go would be like Chucky, where it's
Yeah.
like The first Chucky,
possessed
the
doll.
kid, the kid is a possessed doll, and then everyone is like, doesn't believe that he's actually possessed. Like they're like,
Right.
like something bad will happen, and the kid will be like, "Oh, Chucky did it," and it was like, "Oh, you little liar, it was you." That doll can't move. But then everyone in all of these movies is always just like, "Oh yeah, there's puppets running around. Let's go find them."
Yeah, like they're just on board. They're like, yeah, sure, this happens.
Yeah, it's just a
Quick,
normal thing.
Let's fuck on this bed and we can find out what's going on here.
Yeah.
That's and it's cool. Over I would say the last year, I've been getting really into a magical thinking. Not so much magic, but magical thinking. But like sex magic is very powerful because it uses like a lot of like emotion.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of like you're giving up like, I wouldn't say your own will, but you're like being that like emotionally connected like with someone else.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a very strong, potent magic.
Oh my
So
god.
it's like ritualistic sex, basically. But in this, they're not shoving anything up their ass. Although they did hint that there was some paraphernalia objects that were going to be used, but we didn't see it.
Yeah, you don't
So
see it.
so Frank could have gotten something up his ass
Oh god.
if he didn't get murdered. So let's get into the puppets. We have what I think is the main character, Blade.
I guess, yeah.
He's kind of, I mean, he's like the poster boy for the franchise, I feel.
Yeah. He's
And
definitely the leader of the puppets.
Yeah.
Like, he seems to be the one that is like the smartest one, and he
Yeah.
also is the most capable, like with killing whatever.
Yeah, he's like kind of the one like running around.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do those shots that I really like of just like the really low camera, like first person puppet view. And they like they do like their little breathing, they're like
Yeah,
as they're like running around. It's adorable.
Yeah, it was really cute.
And it's like them, you see just like people's feet and they're kind of like dodge, like getting like spotted. They're like sliding under things, jumping over stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, that was great. I think the movie even opens up with that.
It does.
Like
It opens up with the very beginning of Blade running around.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And I was like, oh, he escaped. He's escaping. And then I was like, no, he's like just trying to warn his owner that like bad men are coming. So we got Blade, we have Pinhead. And this guy I think is the funniest because it's basically he has a tiny head and big hands.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to, I guess he's strong.
Yeah.
But like the way they do it is like it's clearly just human hands.
Yeah, that's what made it so charming for me. It's just like it's just some guy putting his hands through the sleeves.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
He reminds me of kind of the Goombas from like the live action Mario. That was my first
That's
thought.
so accurate. That is horribly accurate. The broad shoulders and the super small head. Yeah,
the
I
super
could totally
tiny
see
head.
that.
And then we have Jester. He just kind of changes faces. That's all he really does. I don't really know.
Yeah, he's just like there. He's like a flavor puppet. He's just there to like react to things, it seems like.
He's their hype man.
Yeah.
They're like, as they're killing someone, they're like, oh, what Jester's face look like? Oh, he's got a frown. All right, get more leeches in this man's butt. And then it spins to a smile like, okay, we're good. Then we have Tunneler, which I think he has some of the better kills. He's just a man with a drill on his head.
Yeah.
That's it.
He runs. He kills people just by running head first into them. He just puts his head to the ground. He just runs at them. It's like Rhino from Spider-Man or some shit.
And then we have what I think is the scariest, Leech Woman. She just pukes leeches.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's pretty solid.
I was like, what's her name going to be? And then I looked on the wiki and I was like, oh, it's literally just Leech Woman.
Yeah.
Like they all have names and hers is just Leech Woman.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
But the kills were actually really decent in this one.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
The first one's a little rough with the maid getting smacked. The very nasally, high-pitched maid.
Oh God, I forgot about her.
And she just kind of gets whacked with a
The fire poker.
And I was like, okay, I don't know how strong the rest of this movie's gonna be. And then we got to the sex kill, and I was like, oh okay. A woman gets like her eye drilled in.
Oh yeah, when she's looking under the bed.
Yeah. And then
that was cool.
The man's tied up and blindfolded, and the leech woman's puking on him, and he thinks it's his girlfriend who's now bleeding out on the floor as she's puking leeches on him. He's like, oh yeah, baby, keep going. And he's just like bleeding.
And then eventually the pain gets like too much for him, and he's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. And then everyone else hears it, but they just think they're just doing crazy sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, oh, there they go at it again. Meanwhile, this man's literally getting sucked dry.
Oh God.
So, one thing I want to talk about, which you've watched more, so you know more than me. I told you I went down a rabbit hole. I watched this movie, and as I was doing like a little bit of research on it, I was like, these are really into Nazis. Like, there's a lot of Nazi stuff.
Yeah.
So how does this later get connected to Nazis?
Do you want to know?
In the least spoiler way.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, the old guy in that opening, it's like a flashback. It's like in 1939.
The original Puppet Master. Well, not original, but the current Puppet Master.
Right, yeah. He's the one who, like, made all of them and shit. And, like, well, basically, this is where we get into the exploitation part of these films that I don't entirely agree with. But, I mean, that guy is a Jew. And he was escaping Nazi Germany. So, and he was like a scientist with them, and they like, he like, you know, like, cause they wanted like to use his like way of like, cause he can like animate puppets or whatever.
Yeah, animate like inanimate objects is how they explain it.
Right. Yeah. So then the Nazis were like, "Oh my God, we could use that for our human experiments." Oh, and then the guy's like, "No, you can't do that." And then he like ran away, and then the Nazis got to him.
Yeah, because they don't make it clear in the first movie, but I guess those two guys, they have German accents,
right? And
they were dressed very stylishly, so I only assumed it was Nazis.
Yeah, one can assume.
And that guy, the old man, sounded like he had a German accent, so I was like, oh, maybe he's like. That was kind of the conclusion I got. Maybe he ran off, like they want his research, or it's some secret society that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Basically,
one thing I thought was really funny when I was going on like the wiki, and it was like, so basically it's like a graph of like the puppet masters and all their puppets, right? And it goes through all of them. And it goes the movies they're in and all that. But one of my favorite part that I was losing it, it literally next to each puppet master, like it was their name, and then under it just said good or evil. So it was like that guy, and it was like good, and then one was like Neil, and it was like evil. I just think it's funny just assigning people evil.
Yeah. Just it's very binary. It's like a child's way of thinking.
He is evil.
That's hilarious.
Maybe you'd appreciate it more because you actually know what's going on, but the Puppet Master wiki is a wild ride. I was clicking so many pages, going through it all. Yeah.
Oh God.
It's just very funny with all the different puppets, and it shows like all like what movies they were in and stuff like that. So I guess Puppet Master's a really big fandom.
I guess, yeah. It was kind of. Oh, I actually have something really funny to mention.
Yeah.
This will be a shout out to, speaking of the fandom in general. While I was watching these, I was just curious because, like, you know, you hear that, like, these are, like, a cult thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have, like, their cult fan base or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was looking to see if there was, like, a subreddit dedicated to, like, the Puppet
Oh,
Master franchise. Yeah. And there actually is one. And it was made, like, a week ago.
What?
Yeah.
So some guys just like, there's not enough people giving Puppet Master love. We need our own community.
Yeah. It's literally that. And then I was looking at the post. There's like 5 posts in it, right? And they're all by the same guy. I'm going to assume it's the guy who created the subreddit. And like, they're all just like, who is your favorite puppet? And then it was like a poll, and it had all the names on it.
Is anyone responding?
There are a few people. There's like 4 members of the subreddit total. So like, it's not like there aren't that many people looking at it.
Oh, we need to get on that.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of posting this episode into that subreddit.
Oh my God.
Just to throw that guy a bone.
Do that.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, dude, you got some more puppet heads out there.
And we love it. We're puppet heads ourselves now.
We're puppet heads now. That reminds me of that that guy, like that Reddit post. It was like a subreddit of like the hot dog subreddit. And I guess you just post pictures of hot dogs.
What?
And this dude who's like the owner posted on it like a picture of a hot dog, and he's like, come the fuck on, people. I'm getting sick and tired of always having to do the posting. Because he was like mad not enough people were like posting hot dog pictures.
That's hilarious. Hold on. Okay, give me a second because I'm going to pull up that subreddit because I think he made a post like that, actually.
Oh my God, please. I'm actually looking it up right now.
Yeah, this guy, he posted one. He's like, can anyone post, comment, answer?
Aww.
And it has one upvote.
We gotta help this man out.
Yeah, no, I think we need to draw our small audience. Need to go subscribe to the subreddit.
The 3 people that listen to this.
Yes,
go to the Puppet Master subreddit. Do you have the link for that subreddit?
I do.
Can you send it on Discord?
Yes, I can. I will give it to you.
We're gonna spread the Puppet Master cheer. We're puppet heads now.
I would love to be a puppet head. I'll proudly be a puppet head.
Putting that on my resume.
Yeah.
My name, graphic artist, podcaster under that puppet head. Like, so do you like, are you a ventriloquist? Do you like make the puppets? No, I just really like Puppet Master.
I'm a rabid fan. It's a full-time job at this point.
Fan. Yeah, so on this dive down this Puppet Master rabbit hole, I discovered, and we talked about the Puppet Master game.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I was like, what the hell? It's getting a game. And I was like, I guess it's supposed to be like, well, as you said, like one Nazi versus puppets.
Yeah, because like from the screenshots, it looked like you're playing as like one of those guys that like went to go kill their puppet master in the first one.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me too. The trench coat and hat.
Yeah. And it looked like from the trailer, like the beds were like up higher than they would
so
be.
you could like run under them.
Yeah,
like all the furniture was like that.
All I'm picturing is like how fun it could be. Is just like you're just that guy, and then you're just like seeing like these 3 things scurrying around and like clipping you in the foot as they go by, and you're just freaking out. The idea of that is kind of fun to me.
Well, I hate to break it to you. Do you know how long this game has been in development?
No.
I want you to take a guess.
I'm gonna say what? Oh, I feel like it's gonna be longer than what I'm saying, but I'm gonna say 3 years.
Guess again.
Oh my God, it's even longer than that?
It is longer.
10 years.
Yep, 2012 it started development.
Oh my God, I thought I was like overshooting there.
2012 it started development.
How is that in development for 10 years?
No, if it went on like hiatus or it kept getting shelved. But But good news for us and other puppet heads. I'm sure this will bring attention to the Puppet Master subreddit. In this year, it's going to come out free to play.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good news.
They changed it to free to play. They announced that. So we're gonna host Guts and Ghouls
LAN party.
LAN party, yeah. We're gonna get all of our rabid subscribers to go and play the game. But yeah, I was curious about this. I'm like, okay, well, who's the developer? Like doing like a Puppet Master game? Because like right now, these asymmetrical horror games are really popular. Like the Evil Dead game just came out, which is great. We have that Texas Chainsaw one coming out, which is great. You know, Friday the 13th game. Like it's really popular. So I was like, okay, well, like who's the developer behind it? And there's people called October Games, super small team.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Let's see what their game is. And their one game they have out, and it's called Horror Legends. And I was expecting it to maybe be something like, what's that fighting game with all like the horror monsters?
Oh, Terrordrome?
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's probably gonna be something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
It's basically Dead by Daylight. And their characters are basically 3 of them are just scarecrows, just different scarecrows.
Why?
One of my favorite characters was Psycho Phil.
Psycho Phil?
Psycho Phil. Imagine Leatherface, but he has a Yeti head.
That sounds so stupid.
Yeah, look up screenshots. It's really funny. But I was like, okay, I'm not going to bash on this game. I found out it's like $15, right? It's a multiplayer game. Okay. I was like, whatever. There's a free demo. So I was like, oh, you can play the demo online, but you're just locked to like 1 killer and 1 survivor. Mm-hmm. And they call the survivors the cast. So it's supposed to be like a horror movie, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I booted in. I did a killer game against bots because surprise, surprise, I looked at the server list and there's not a single person playing that game. But which is sad because I can tell they put like a lot of work into it and stuff.
Yeah.
There's even like an in-game shop with like DLC and items and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the game is basically Dead by Daylight, but if you walked at 1/4 of your speed in Dead by Daylight. Everybody. So the chases are not intense at all. It's just you like holding W and just watching your character move like a slug.
That sounds painful.
And it seemed like all the characters' abilities are just a variation of like you have like a melee one and a ranged one. And then like a special.
Well, that's lame.
But you don't have to hook them. You just got to kill them, wait for a timer to go down, and then you execute them.
Oh, so do they have health bars, the survivors, or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just did one game against bots, and I was like, I've had enough. You know?
Sounds like we need to make a gaming night of it. And play
I mean, we can technically play it. It's a multiplayer demo.
Is it really?
So I think we should. Yeah, I think it would be really funny.
That would be really fun. Oh my god.
So yeah, so hopefully October Games they can do a little better with the Puppet Master one.
And to be honest, I'm like pumped about the Puppet Master game.
All right,
like
I'm excited too.
Like I would totally. I want to play as Pinhead. I want to run around and punch someone.
Yeah, you just grab them by the ankles and snap them.
Yeah. Like that sounds like fun, just to be like a little guy running around on the ground.
I've been saying they need to add Chucky to Dead by Daylight for years because I would just love to be a little dude running around.
Oh, it would be
just
so
like
much
knee
fun.
height.
Yeah,
and you could just kind of jump on people's faces.
Yeah. Cool. They could figure out a way to make it work. I mean, they already have that. The worst character in the game, but yeah, the twins. Like, so they could do something. You know.
I mean, when I was like, I was glad this game was free to play. Not because like I didn't want to pay money for it, because I would. It's just now my expectations can be so low.
But you could be blown away by the
I
Puppet
could
Master
be.
game.
Hey, there's some really good free-to-play ones out there, so hopefully
Hopefully
this is the case.
I will say the models of the puppets look good from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they looks like they were solid and they look well animated. So
Yeah. It looked like a game that could be kind of like Phasmophobia.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's not
that
super
level.
polished, but it's a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah, that's all I'm hoping for. You know, could be fun.
So before we get into the plot breakdown, tell me your experience. Tell me your thoughts on Puppet Master.
The franchise or the first one?
Whatever you want to rant about.
Oh,
This ball's in your court. I'm throwing it in your court. Because you had a lot to say just before we even started recording.
that is true. Yeah, it's like, all right. So we decided we were gonna watch this last week, right? And I was like, oh god,
Yeah.
Puppet Master. That sounds terrible. Low budget horror about little people running around. You know, sounds bad. But I was like, I was actually like blown away by like how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like the first one, not really. I mean, I like the first one, but like I feel like it gets like so much more interesting in the sequels. Now, I will say this franchise is flawed at like a foundational level. like
All right.
like I don't think
Tell me
any
the
of these
flaw.
movies are good, particularly. Maybe the new one because they changed it up.
but so you
like-
don't think they're good, but you think they're entertaining and fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that
exactly.
what I'm getting at? Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't like be like none of these are my favorite movies. But like would I put these on in the background again at some point in the future? Sure. Cuz
Okay.
like they're like fun to look at and like listen to and like you know but like what I'm saying they're flawed at a foundational level because at the end of the day it's a movie about puppets, Nazi puppets. Like you
What, you don't
can't
think there's
get
any higher art in that?
you can't get no. I'm just saying like that's very exploitative,
Yeah.
especially to bring in Jewish people and everyone that was like affected by that. Super exploitative and kind of scummy.
They went the blockbuster route of you need a good villain, just make them Nazis.
It's
You don't have to
true.
explain why they're evil. Just make them Nazis. Fuck them.
Oh god. But like yeah, like I'll say the first I watched 6 of them, right?
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I watched the
In like a
first
24-hour period too. I just want to state that.
Yeah, because I'm about to make a move across state lines, so and I have like a week and a half until I have to actually leave. So like
So you got nothing but time.
yeah, I got nothing but time to pack and do stupid things like watch Puppet Master movies. But anyway, I watched the first 2 yesterday. The first one I watched earlier in the day, and then the next one I watched when I was kind of falling asleep. And then I watched 3, 4, 5, and then the new reboot, which was done by Craig Zoller, which just blew me away as well. But like, dude, the second one I do not like.
Okay.
Right? Because it like there are things in the first one that are implied, character stuff that like the people who were making the second one didn't seem to understand, and so they took it in like a more obvious direction that I
Right.
didn't really like. Where it's literally just the same movie as the first one.
So it
Like
sounds
the-
like what happens most of the time when a first one is, I will say in this case, relatively successful, and the people working on the second one doesn't understand that it's like the charm or the atmosphere or like the characters and stuff. They just know, oh, people like this thing. Let's just make it again.
Yeah, it's literally that, and it also it doesn't understand the characters of the first one really. Not that there is much to understand, but somehow they fucked that up. But
Okay.
the third one, which is a prequel to the first one and the second one, is like one of the best movies in the franchise, and like I was like blown away like how much I liked it. Now,
No.
it's
Okay.
like I said before, flawed at a foundational level. This entire franchise is right because you cannot make people take Nazi puppets and all that's doing like a movie about that subject matter and making it a schlocky horror movie, not good. Wrong creative decision right there. And also they're made so cheaply, like the production, the directing and like editing and filming of it is like, it's not good. But if you can look past that stuff, the script is decent. The script is everything you would want. And it's got puppet people running around. And what's interesting about the third one to 5, I don't know what happens after that because I haven't watched, but the puppets are like good guys, which is like so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I got that vibe from this first one a little. Maybe not that they're good, but they're not evil.
Yeah,
like they're not killing just because they want to. Right.
And that's what I don't like about the second one is that will like it like, yeah, they just make them evil and they make specifically the puppet master evil because it's kind of
like in Hellraiser 3. They basically, instead of making Pinhead this kind of like neutral like deity of like pleasures and pain, they just kind of make him a demon who likes to hurt people.
Yeah.
And they just completely run the character to the ground to make it like so you can explain to your grandma. Like, the guy with pins in his head, he's bad.
He's the bad guy.
He's the bad guy. In the first one, he's just like a middle manager of like some plane of existence.
Right. Oh. Yeah, no, it's exactly like that. And I was thinking, because we've talked about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise before as well. And it was kind of like that, where like how like you watch the first one and some of the sequels they don't quite understand like Leatherface as a character or the family, how that relationship goes. It's like this was like the second one is the only misstep, and then the 3, 4, 5 all like get it, and they all are like really fun like movies.
The second one's just a learning curve.
Yeah, no, I like my theory about it is that because they all of them came out so like close to each other that like they had 2 different groups of creative people working on them at the same time.
That makes sense.
Like, okay, each of you make a Puppet Master movie, and like they didn't communicate with each other about it really, because there's also plot things that don't make sense or like that are like don't line up either between them. Because one of them's a prequel, and then the second one reveals things that don't line up with the prequel.
So you're saying this is like Star Wars Episode 9?
Yes, absolutely. I would rather, this is my hot take, I would rather watch the Puppet Master movies again than watch episodes 1 through 3 or 7 through 9. That's my hot take.
I mean, wait, 1 through 3?
Yeah, I don't like 1 through 3 at all.
Okay, I've gone... 3 is my favorite. I'm not ashamed to say it. 3 is my favorite. God. I love it.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I'm turning around on 1 and 2.
Oh, no. Don't tell me that.
I'm telling you this.
You can't tell me that.
Like the prequels more than all of the other Star Wars.
Oh, no.
And I think we could fight about this for an hour, and we won't.
Yeah, that would be a whole different podcast.
To know that about me. I need you to know this information about me.
I can't believe, okay, I can maybe understand 3 and maybe even 1, but definitely not 2. 2 is like, that is the worst movie in the whole franchise, 100%.
I'm on the fence of 2. Problem is, I have no nostalgic connection to Star Wars.
Okay.
So, like, as a kid, I never really watched the originals. Like, my dad was a fan, but my dad was more into Star Trek.
Okay.
So, that was kind of more of the sci-fi stuff I was getting. So, like, Star Wars wasn't really just on TV for me. However, I did see the prequels in theaters, so maybe that's something, but I don't have a nostalgic connection to it.
Okay. I get that, I guess. But I could see how that would make one's enjoyment of those movies a little better.
Yeah.
Because like you're not expecting like something
anything
from them. Yeah, you're not expecting anything, I guess.
But to backtrack to you would rather watch Puppet Master than those Star Wars. A statement could be said for me is I would watch X rather than Star Wars episodes. What's it, 7 through 9?
Oh,
X
yeah.
being literally fill in the blank.
Okay.
It could be like straight up like snuff. And I'm like, sure. I don't want to watch Babu Frink again.
Babu Freak. Oh my god.
Gogu Shplogu. All right.
I don't hate the sequels as that much.
I do.
I would even say
boring.
I'd rather watch them than the prequels. But like, yeah, I get it though. I get it. We're living in a weird world.
All right, we've got our daily Star Wars talking.
Yeah, we got to get that out of the way.
Well, I'll just say I think I liked this first one a lot more than you did. I really enjoyed this. I loved the mystery. I loved the cool magic team. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
The kills were there for me. I thought the ending was pretty solid. It's just everything I like was kind of there. I will admit, once you think about it, it starts to not make sense.
Yeah.
Like how Neil basically just pranked him.
Yeah, that
that's the
whole
plot.
thing made absolutely no sense at all.
We'll get into that. But I really like it. But I don't have the knowledge now that you have. You have this forbidden knowledge that only you and the guy who made that subreddit have.
It's true, and maybe the 4 other members of that subreddit.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any else to add before we get into the breakdown of the plot?
Oh, I would just like to add, it's a travesty that the only streamable version of the first movie is in 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
non HD.
Where's the restoration?
Yeah, because even the sequels are in HD, like full screen HD. And it's like,
wonder
why
why.
is the most famous movie in this franchise not in actual good HD where
That's
you don't
the way
have
the
black
artist
bars?
intended it to be.
What, they're like Zack Snyder? They filmed
Yeah.
it to be in that aspect ratio?
Yeah. It's an auteuristic decision, okay?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure there's a lot of auteur going on behind the scenes of this Puppet Master franchise.
Hey, you know what? Say what you want about Puppet Master. And I say this a lot about horror movies. And I notice these are the horror movies I love. Is you can tell
Yeah.
there's a lot of heart in this movie. You can tell there's not a lot of passion.
You can.
It's not.
I genuinely feel like each one of the movies I watched, maybe not the second one, but like they all felt like they had people who cared about it,
Yeah.
making it, and that's what's most
Exactly.
important at the end of the day.
And those are the franchises I like. Like that's why I love the Hatchet franchise too.
Oh, okay.
Like you can tell everyone working on it genuinely like loves the craft. They're just having a good time. Like they're not trying to make, they're not making Oscar winners. They know that.
Yeah,
They're just here to have fun and make a cool movie. And that's what I appreciate. And I think that's what the first movie is. And in your case, the other movies as well, as you say.
I think the first movie definitely has that care and attention put into it as well. I just think like the scripts and some of the other ones are stronger than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's break down the plot. Let's go read through the plays of all these little puppets. Get to know our little guys. So it's set in this bodega hotel. Our opening, we have this old man, which now Brad has informed me he's Jewish.
Yeah, he's Jewish.
Which we don't know in the first movie. Okay, this is I would say it's implied, but you really don't get anything.
No. I expected them to reveal what was going on in that opening scene in this movie,
did
and
not.
they just don't do that. It's like, oh,
They don't
okay.
reveal much, which I think I like more. I
Then
like
just
when things
outright
leave.
revealing it.
I like when things leave mysteries,
Yeah.
but that's me.
No, I could see that.
That's my
and,
preference.
And I could see why they wouldn't want to make the Nazi implication so outright, too, because that could be controversial. So it's like, yeah,
Wait.
I get that.
You're telling me a movie in the 80s cared about being controversial?
Well, I mean, I think any movie in any time period after the Holocaust happened probably did not want to touch that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I don't think anybody wants to piss anyone off about.
Yeah, that's true. Well, not sure. This Jewish man is the current puppet master, which we learn, I guess, is a very important title in this franchise. And he has used ancient Egyptian magics to reanimate these puppets and make them living. And these two men, which now we learned are Nazis, come in to, I would assume, kill and take that power. But he's smart and he has a secret cupboard or a secret like contraption in the wall where he hides all the puppets and like the rule book or the guide of how to make puppets alive.
Yeah.
And he then blows his brains out, which is actually a pretty shocking suicide scene.
Yeah, I did not expect him to do that.
I was like, okay, they're gonna cut away and then just boom, like the walls painted red. I'm like, oh shit. So then we cut back to modern times, which would be like 1989.
Mm-hmm.
And we are introduced to our psychic team. They get an invitation to the Bodega Hotel from, I guess, a former colleague, Neil.
Yeah.
Our team of 4 wizards get there. And turns out Neil's dead. And the owner of the hotel, Neil's wife, Mrs. Gallagher, is like, oh yeah, he's dead. And they're like, oh, well, we didn't know that. So they assumed, maybe Neil wanted us here for a reason. Like there's something going on about his death. And from there, it's pretty much just the puppets kill them all. The majority of it.
Yeah, one by one, they kind of all get picked off.
They do kind of have a talk with Mrs. Gallagher, and Alex, I think, is very sympathetic with her. Like, he doesn't really want to hurt her feelings. Like, they're there for selfish reasons. They don't give a shit about her. They don't give a shit about really Neil at all. They actually say that Neil screwed them over somehow, and they're here to get even, whatever that means.
Yeah, that was all really murky. Like they didn't flesh out that at all as much as they should have.
They just said he was looking for the basically how to reanimate objects, and he went to like Egypt and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it led him here, and essentially he married this woman who is the owner of the hotel to get access to it. And once they got married, he not tore it down, but like remodeled, in quotation marks, the building, when really he was just digging it up to find those magic puppets. And then once he found it, he like locked himself away in his room for a year until his eventual suicide. So our character's like, okay, he must have found something here, right?
Right. And
that is when like our maid gets killed with the fire poker by our big-handed man. Frank and Carissa are performing their sex ritual to figure out what's going on. And that is when Carissa is drilled in the head. And then Frank, who is blindfolded and tied to the bed, thinking Carissa is sucking on his nipples. It's actually the leech woman who is puking leeches on him. And that part is actually really scary. Like, it's a pretty good shot of like her puking up the leech.
Oh,
so I was like, is that her tongue? And just like the way she's like this little doll, and like she has like black eyes. Like she's human, but not. I don't know. It's just really creepy.
Yeah.
I was worried we're gonna see puppet sex.
Oh God, yeah, that would have been awful. Like puppets having sex with each other, or like a human having sex with the puppet?
It's like Castle Freak remake.
Oh God, yeah, don't want to see that.
Why does your vagina feel so hard? Your pussy is like plastic.
Oh God, no.
After that, our psychic lady gets her ankles broken by Pinhead, and she crawls to an elevator where Blade is, and he jumps down and cuts her throat. So all that's left is our Alex, who is our dreamer, and Gallagher. And they basically discover that Neil has found the old puppet master's like books and his teachings, and has reanimated these puppets in hope of finding like immortality.
Well,
basically.
no, well, he did already. He killed himself and then reanimated himself.
Yeah.
So
Right.
and I guess he wants to live like as long as the puppets do, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And, yeah.
yeah, like they after finding this, they go down to tell everyone, but everyone's dead. And they go on the dinner table where he has like all their bodies, and Neil is there, who we think is dead. And he basically, in a very cartoonish way, monologues his entire plan.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I want immortality. And they're like, why do you need to kill him? He's like, I'm tired of experimenting on puppets. I need human puppets.
Oh God.
And but here's the thing. They do the classic of how do I get my characters to turn on their leader is just have them overhear him say bad things. Because he was basically, I hate puppets. And he like throws, I think, the jester one. And all the puppets are like, hang on, fuck this guy.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, so they chase him down and drill his brain in.
Yeah, they're like smashing his hands open, and there's like all this like green
blade
goo
cuts
coming
off his
out.
fingers.
Mhm.
And then Leech Woman's like puking leeches into his mouth, and he's like swallowing them. And then they finally finish him off by just like drilling into his skull. And then it's just kind of a nice happy ending. Like it literally cuts to Mrs. Gallagher and Alex saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right, see you later. As if the problem was resolved. As if that not seeing mute like living puppets murder a man is traumatic or anything.
Yeah,
and then,
what the fuck was up with the ending too? Like,
yeah,
what?
so the final shot is her like one of the psychics. She has this like stuffed dog that she's constantly talking to, and I guess Mrs. Gallagher makes the dog alive again.
Mm-hmm.
I would just assume that's like she discovered the magic.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too. So then she's like the new puppet master or whatever.
Well, I did see on the wiki she was listed as a puppet master. You know what her intentions were?
What were they?
Good. She was in the good category. She was not evil like Neil.
What does the wiki say about the original puppet master? Is he good or evil?
He is good. Wait.
Oh.
I think that might have changed. Hang on. We need to do some live researching here. Puppet Master Wiki.
What does the wiki think about this character?
Puppet Masters, what was his name? Andre,
yeah, something. Andre Lowland? I don't know.
Oh my god, he's in every one.
Because in the second one, he's just a straight up bad guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Andre. Okay, he's good in Puppet Master, Toulon's Revenge, Retro Puppet Master, Entity Comics, Action Lab Comics, but is evil in 2, The Littlest Reich, and Eternity Comics. Wait, he's evil and good in both?
What?
Because it says Eternity Comics, he's good and he's evil in them.
Oh shit! So he goes through a character arc.
Yeah.
Of course, there are comics of this franchise. That doesn't surprise me at all. This seems like a very comic book idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Megan Gallagher is listed as good.
Jeez.
Wait, there's just some kind of... Okay, I'm going way too deep. There's just some kind of blobby man. He is evil. He's
a blobby man?
Yeah, I don't know how to... He's just kind of like a flesh man. He's got big, beefy nipples.
Oh. I don't remember that character. That might be from a movie I don't know.
I think it's like in 5.
Oh, is it in 5?
It's Puppet Master, the final chapter.
Oh, I've seen that one, so I probably know who that is. Why can't I don't recognize
Sutek.
it. What the fuck?
His puppets are the Totem King, Totem 1, Totem 2, and Totem 3.
Yeah, he's the Power Rangers bad guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what he looks like. I also think I like the wiki. If you look at the puppets, they literally just have them like they Photoshop, like they keyed out the background. And they didn't do it very well either.
It's really poorly cropped.
Yeah, but it's like really, I don't know. I all I know is I did not expect to go on the journey that I went on. I would say it's spiritual almost.
It was spiritual. Like I don't know, because I was packing and stuff while I was watching these movies, so I might have been having like heat stroke because I don't have great AC in my apartment. So could be that I was just my instincts and my brain capacity was hindered by that. But
yeah, when you're going on about like rants about Nazis and like Jews, and I was just like, do you have heat exhaustion? Like, are you hallucinating?
I half expected you to tell me that the Poet Master movies don't exist.
Yeah.
And I was just staring at my TV was just static, and I was just staring at it.
We were supposed to watch Halloween 2. What are you going on about? Puppets? The masters of the puppets? The Muppets? That's the crossover I want. Muppets and Puppet Master.
Oh, that would be awesome. I was thinking during this, legitimately, it would be so awesome if like the Gremlins and the Puppet Master puppets
that's your
crossed
crossover?
over. Yeah, that's my crossover dream. Is that
Puppets and Gremlins?
They eventually fight like these little things, like those totem things you just listed off in 4 and 5, where they're literally just like gremlins combined with like a Bionicle. That's what they look like.
They looked like Bionicles, yeah. Like fleshy Bionicles.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're telling me we get puppet fights?
Oh yeah, you get puppet fights.
I'm watching this entire franchise now.
Dude, that's why it's great. 4 and 5 are like so much fun because it's just like it literally is just puppets going up against other puppets.
I'm watching all of these.
You should.
You can't stop me. I'm watching even the bad ones, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm going to uncharted territory. I'm watching the spin-offs.
Oh god.
I'm watching Baby Oopsie or whatever that was.
Baby Oopsie.
Yeah, the wiki also lists all the spin-offs as well.
Jeez.
I don't know if it's like one puppet is in them and it makes it a spin-off, or if they're just like in universe. I think they're just in universe.
That's so weird.
It might just be, we have a idea for this thing about a killer doll, but we don't have the funding. Oh, well, what if we throw it in the Puppet Master universe?
Yeah, like it's like a script they had already made, but they're like, oh, this could work as a Puppet Master movie. And then just like change the character's name to Blade.
Yeah.
Find and replace in Word, and then you ship it off and get it filmed.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure all these Puppet Masters were like straight to DVD or straight to video.
Yeah, I think the only one that was in theaters was the first one.
Which is surprising because they had a really low budget.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was like $400,000. Like for a movie, that's not a lot.
Oh, can I say, like,
yeah,
they don't use very much of them in any of the movies, but the stop motion sequences looked really good.
Yeah, all the effects looked really good.
Yeah, like they were solid. I wish there was more of the stop motion stuff. I realized that it takes a lot of time, and they probably had to make these in like a weekend.
Yeah,
like they looked great, like surprisingly good. Like you'll see later if you watch the other movies in like 4 and 5, like there's some of the stop motion in that is like really solid. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
I think I this is kind of like we're in the trend right now. Make everything as realistic as possible, right? Mm-hmm. Video games, movies, whatever. Like CG's got to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
I like in horror movies when the CG. Oh, okay, let me rephrase that. Not when the CG is bad, but when it has style.
Oh, okay.
Or when the effects like yeah, obviously I'm watching this and I know it has stop motion, but it's like almost like Uncanny Valley kind of like aura to it, where it's creepy. Like it doesn't move like it should, but it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it fits the tone of what they're going for.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I agree
So
with that.
That's what I appreciate a lot about this.
Yeah, and I've always
kinda
felt
does
that
that.
stop motion has always looked creepy to me.
Yes, it does.
That's why I think it helps play into it, is because it's like, it's just so like kind of weird and creepy looking that it
It's really
works
jarring
out
to
well.
watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially like dolls are already creepy. You know? Like it could just be a room of dolls. That's it. Like you got a horror movie.
And that's just
Nothing
terrifying.
happens.
I will just say that this was made in the exact right decade as well.
Yes.
Where like if something like this was made now, like the dolls would be like overly creepy-fied, like Annabelle.
Annabelle
like those,
ruined dolls.
Yeah, like but all these puppets, except for maybe the Blade one, the main one, because he kind of looks creepy in like a scary way. But like all the other ones look like they could be like legitimate like puppets. Like they're like silly enough that they could
goofy.
be like for kids. Right. Exactly. Even the Leech Lady doesn't really immediately look like, oh, that's a horror movie doll.
She just looks like a woman. She looks almost like a puppet version of a Barbie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You can watch Puppet Master. I think most of them are on Shudder, right?
Yeah, Shudder I think has a bunch of them. You can
Tubi,
also yeah, and I also got like I watched a lot of them because I got like a free trial with like on Amazon. Like there's like a Full Moon Entertainment like subscription service where it's literally just all of their movies, and they're the ones responsible for producing Puppet Master.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you can watch like all of these like horrible schlock horror, like Puppet Master. Ginger Dead Man is on there too. So
okay.
You can just go there and like get your fill of that.
That's good.
Yeah.
I've heard about Ginger Dead Man.
I kind of want to watch it now after watching Puppet Master. I'm not gonna lie.
As long as it's not like Asylum movies.
Oh God, yeah, please no.
Then I'm okay.
And can I also say something as well? I just want to. This is another observation I had when watching these, and like I was wondering why do like cheapo movies from like back in the 80s and 90s and 70s look so much better than cheapo movies like made in like 2005 and after?
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Because I was like watching the trailer for the later Puppet Master sequels, like some of them, and they just looked awful. Like they look like something you'd find in like a bargain bin or like on a shitty streaming service on Tubi or whatever.
I think back then you at least needed some capital. You needed at least some, I wouldn't say skill, but at least some connections to make a movie, right?
Yeah.
Now any asshole with a camera can do it.
That's true, yeah.
So I think you get a lot of people that don't necessarily, I mean, I don't think you need technical skill. Okay, I'm backtracking a lot here on my statements. I realize I say something that could be taken very wrong. But you do, right, you need a certain set of skills to make a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need a vast set of skills to make a good movie. I think that if you have enough passion, you know what you want, and you have the means or connections to make that happen, you can make something good.
Okay, I agree with that.
But I think a lot of the people make movies for not the right... They make the movies because they're like, I want to make a movie.
Right.
You know? And they cut corners, they do shit like that because they're recording it on their iPhone, right? It's cheap. Like, the expense is low.
Yeah.
So I think that's a part of it.
Yeah, and I was also thinking like you saying, like, iPhones and, like, the age of digital filming. Yeah. Like, I feel like back then, like, they're probably using actual film.
It lacks a lot of depth now.
Right, yeah. And, like, you had to be, like, it was a lot more expensive to film on film, obviously, because you only have so much of it.
Yeah,
and, like,
gotta make the shots count.
Right, yeah. So I was thinking that's part of it, but, like, damn, it just sucked to see, like, just that drop off in quality.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that all the time when I watch these, like, 80s horror movies, I'm like, this movie about, like, a fucking, like, snowman killing people looks better than the stuff, like, Disney is putting out today.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, that was Puppet Master. I think we both kind of looked into the mouth of madness for this one.
We did. I genuinely love these movies. They're not good movies, but they're very entertaining and charming.
Okay, that's a really nice way to put it.
Yeah, very charming.
Yeah.
They're low budget. They're schlock. If you go into it with that kind of mindset, you're gonna have a good
fun.
time. Yeah.
And I mean, the first one I know is free on Tubi. Watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend it. I think it's a good time. So, all right. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.